If you have ever not felt like yourself or just outside of your own body, I feel like this entire video might be incredibly relatable to you. I woke up this morning with full intention to pack and get ready for a really exciting trip. My husband and I were packing for Toronto. We're going to go there for our anniversary. We had a hotel booked, multiple meals. We were going to go shopping and just have like a really romantic, chill time. And I was honestly so excited until our plans got foiled, and it was by no one else's fault but my own. And my health kind of took a turn. And I truly believe that things are meant to be, but it was so insanely disappointing. And for it to all be because of health issues is so frustrating, but I took it as a sign to just completely overhaul my entire situation and any bad habits that I had going on. So I figured today I would take you through exactly what I'm doing, a whole real talk, and I guess put away my luggage because we never ended up making it. So let's sit down and chat about everything because I have a lot to say. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't even know where to start this. So truth, I never write out like a big script or anything to say I'm not one of those people online that just are organized. I'm not. I just would rather it be like a real conversation between friends and keeping it cozy. And this week was supposed to look very different in terms of this vlog. So I usually do a plan going into the week. I don't have the plan for the whole month. Truth, I listen, this is not my profession by any means. I just love sharing the coziness and the feels and my real life. And this week was supposed to be a trip. We were supposed to go to Toronto for our anniversary. You might have seen me post about our anniversary on Instagram. All was good. We were supposed to go, and about, I don't know, an hour and a half into the drive, I was not good. And if I seem frustrated, it's because I am, because I feel terrible that this has been like an ongoing thing, it seems, for months now. And if you've ever felt in a certain sense, and I know that this is probably the wrong mindset for me to say it this way, but it's just what's at the top of my mind, betrayed by your body, where you feel like you're doing everything right. Like, I'm a very healthy person. I eat a salad every single night for dinner. But if I was to really think about it, there are habits and routines that are probably less than ideal for my nervous system that have probably led me to this situation where my husband jokes that if my body senses fun, it's like, oh, let's ruin it. And it's been, like I said, it's been going on for months now. I've shared a little bit about this before, but I just figured I'd be completely transparent in case anybody else is going through this as well. And by no means is this medical information. I'm just going to share what's working for me and what I plan to implement, because I am someone that, like, if you push me too far, we're done. And that's how I feel about my current, I don't even know what, do I call it an ailment? I don't know what to call it. My current inflammation. I don't know. I don't know if you can see Carl. He's sitting right at my lap. He's been really good through the whole thing. He went to see his best friends. We dropped him off. We headed to a cozy bookstore, some brunch, and I think that would be number one. I don't think that my body, and it has never, by the way, never, since I'm a little kid, I do not respond well to anything that is like overly unhealthy or fatty. Like, my body just seems to not be able to process it. And looking back through my entire life of all the times that I've struggled as a kid or as a teenager or as a young adult, I've been to the hospital for certain situations with no answers. So looking back at that, there has been definitely moments of like inflammation in my life, but it seems like this year my body went, no more. And I do think that it could be perimenopausal. I mean, it started to happen acutely promptly on my 38th birthday, which I shared. So that could definitely be a part of it. Again, I am just sharing this as a transparent bestie, because if you're going through bouts of anxiousness, feeling less than ideal, tired, sluggish, and a rigmarole of feelings, one thing I will say is I sleep like a champion. So that is still intact. So that's good. But I do think that anything that I've had in the past year, so I was proactive. I have seen multiple doctors. I also did a full blood panel. And what came from that was low iron, very low iron, if you have low iron or low ferritin, I should say, let me know. My iron was at a 13. So apparently anything less than a 30 is really bad. 13. And that was after I knew that it was probably that. So I worked at it and I was taking supplements. Now, the issue with that is, and one of you commented on my TikTok, and I just want to say thank you so much, because you sent me down the best rabbit hole ever of looking into gut health and looking in, just doing research. And I have been a little researcher lately, and this will be a journey, but how cool would it be to come out on the other side and be like, I fixed it. So I'm going to take you through today my 5 steps of like what I've been doing to really get a hold of this. Because like I said, I am someone that when I reach a breaking point of no more and I am determined, oh, is she tenacious? So we're following a plan. It's not extreme, but it's pretty extreme. Like we are no longer even, you know how I said like I wasn't having coffee? I haven't had really coffee since my birthday pretty much. Like I figured out that was a huge trigger. So we cut out coffee, but every once in a while I'd have like a decaf coffee, which apparently is no better, or like a latte here and there. No. So we're not doing that anymore. Cutting out alcohol. I'll share diet, recipes, meal plan, movement, like all the things that I'm doing. But I've really narrowed it down to the fact that you can take all the supplements in the world that you want to, but if your body's not absorbing it, it's not going to help you. And if you're in a state of fight or flight, it's also not going to help you. So I am sad. I didn't want to get on here and cry because I feel terrible that basically this situation is affecting others, as in my husband or you guys. Like there was almost no video because I was so discouraged. I didn't know what to film. Also, I'm not feeling my best. I'm not looking. That's not lost upon me. And I do think that it's so hard too, ladies, you might understand this. Dudes too, actually, because I feel like we're in a society right now where, and I do think it's shifting, but skinny is so celebrated. I think it's on its way out because skinny is not sustainable. But anybody that's a millennial will remember this has happened before. Like I remember my little Cosmopolitan magazines. I'm going to finish my drink that I just made. I remember my little Cosmopolitan magazines when I was younger as a teeny bopper, and skinny was so in. Like, I remember like I loved Lindsay Lohan, but Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, like all that, like skinny, like so skinny. And it was so celebrated. And obviously we're back to that, but I do think it's on its way out. And I just feel like we're on the cusp of like healthy, like true health, not I do a bajillion hours of cardio or I eat chicken and rice all day long and I'm a bodybuilder. Not like that. Really like vitality and internal health. And I really feel like there's going to be a shift. And I just think that that's so much more inspiring to young women. Like when I think about my nieces and my nephews growing up in a world where social media is celebrating health, like real health instead of appearances and skinniness and illusions, I feel like that's a happier place for them. So that makes me happy. So that's why I want to share just true health, not weird biohacks and pills and stuff. Just what happens if you can actually take care of yourself from the inside out in terms of stress management, movement, all of it. So one thing that I've been doing just for inflammation, which I've learned a lot about over the past little bit, bless you, is just lowering inflammation through very natural, obviously, foods. But one thing I do is I wake up with an empty stomach. I have it here. I have these cute little glasses that are actually, these are not shot glasses. These are from Nespresso and they're meant for an espresso shot. Bless you. So I do a smidge, like a tiny smidge of olive oil with the juice of half of a lemon. And I take that as a shot. And the progress over the past 7 days of just doing that is insane, like crazy. So that's one thing. That's literally step one in my day. I paused it for the video, but I usually have like jazz music going. I'll light a candle and then I do electrolytes. So I started doing apple cider vinegar because if your gut is inflamed, it probably doesn't have enough acid to break down the food. At least that's my understanding of my situation. So I think that anything that I'm eating that is a little bit higher in fat content, which I've cut out, but my body just can't seem to process it. So not enough stomach acid to break it down. So one thing that helps with that is apple cider vinegar. So I do a little bit of aloe vera juice, which is very good for the gut at the bottom of the drink. then there's a method to my madness. A little splash of apple cider vinegar, and then I put in some very clean electrolytes. I love like a raspberry flavor. It seems to mask the taste of everything. And then I mix that all together, and I started taking Paragard because I'm not convinced that I didn't contaminate. So I'm not convinced. I don't know. I have no idea, but we're going to do it. And if you're going to do the Paragard thing, which I get was like very viral for a while, don't just do it while eating all the things. Like make sure that you're following a protocol and a proper nutritional diet before doing that. So I add my Paragard in there, which is basically, I think it's pumpkin seed oil, black seed oil, don't quote me, clove oil, which to me I love cloves, so I think it tastes delicious. And there's one other. It's kind of strong to just take on its own, so put it in juice. And then I mix that all together with the little frother thingy, like the little mixer, so that it doesn't heal over. And I think that's it, right? A touch of salt. Yep. And then I fill the rest with water. And then I just sip on that through the morning. And that just seems to replenish me. One thing that I noticed is that I seem to be consistently dehydrated. Hence, no alcohol, no coffee, nothing that's going to dehydrate you more, no sugars, nothing like that. So it's like the no fun diet. But what I am noticing is cravings are down, weight is dropping, like it's weight from inflammation for sure. So skin is looking better. I do think coming off of a not great feeling of a week, it comes and goes. It comes in waves. So if anybody else has ever experienced this, it's so frustrating when you have bouts of, I don't know what else to call it. I've never been an anxious person, but it is literally anxiety, nausea, like from here up, like just like little burps. I don't know how else to say it. Just like, it's like trapped gas from here on up. Nowhere else, just, and I just keep, apparently that's because you're like sucking air from anxiousness. And it's so frustrating because I cannot tell you where it stems from. I think my body might just be stuck in a state of fight or flight. So yeah, like I said, I didn't want to get on here and start it. I don't want it to be like a sad thing. I wanted to come more from like a cozy reset together that we can do this. But if you're going through something like this, man, does it suck. And I'm here for you and I feel for you, but I figured it was better to come on here and share something that I'm truly going through rather than just not, even though I will say, and I've shared this before, when I'm not feeling my best, and you know, you might have been there when you're not feeling your best. And for me, this is one thing that's super important to the ladies. This is specifically to the ladies. This always happens during my cycle. Like it's to a T, either right before my cycle or during or right after. It is always in that little bubble of, I would say a week, like 5 days to a week. So obviously there's something with that has triggered it. I have decided to go on the pill, much to my doctor's recommendation. He thinks that it would be a good idea. It's a low dose pill. I hope that it works. I started taking it at night because apparently when you take it during the day, it'll also spike your anxiety. Anyways, so it's incredibly frustrating. It's just so frustrating to feel like you're trying to do everything right as a woman and be a good wife, good fur baby mommy, good business owner, trying to do all the things and keep your body healthy. And when you feel anything less than yourself, it freaking sucks. And it makes it 10 times harder to want to show up online and to share that. So if you're feeling that way, I understand, because when it starts to affect other people is when it really sucks. And the reason I'm sad is I just feel really, really bad. And I have an amazing husband that was so supportive and so sweet about this. And he was like, it's okay. You know, things are meant to be. It's not your fault. I'm like, but it is, because I feel like I somehow caused this in my body. So all that to say, if you are going through, I said I didn't want to show up online and cry. If you are going through this, I understand. And that's where this is coming from. And I just figured I would share exactly what I'm going through. I bought a ton of books. I've been doing a ton of research. I've been talking to a ton of doctors, a ton of naturopaths, and just gotten like such good information. So I figured I would share that and be able to take you through my journey. So I just felt like that was like the realest thing that I could do. And it might not be the vibiest video in terms of like cozy feels. Well, maybe it will be, I don't know. But I just want to take you through my day of like literally exactly what I'm doing in these 5 steps and just to feel more like myself. So if you do feel in your own life like you haven't been consistent with certain things, or you just have trouble showing up for daily tasks that should be so simple, but you have trouble with it, oh my gosh, do I ever understand you. So on that note, thank you for being so kind and courteous and just sweet as a community. Like, thank you, because it's not always easy, but it makes it easier when I know that it's well received, that it is helpful, that it is going out to kind, sweet people. So thank you. And if it's ever at all helpful, that's why I do it. Again, this isn't my livelihood. This isn't what I do for a living. And I do it because I thoroughly enjoy it, even though sometimes it's very, very difficult to show up. Like I said, just to do simple tasks can be sometimes so difficult, especially during that 1 week of the month. For whatever reason, the hormone levels and all of that definitely play into it, which I am doing my best to manage. So ladies, we deserve a badge of honor, I swear, because we go through a lot, and a lot of us do it in silence. And I just figured I would share this, because if you are going through this in silence, you can share it in the comments and we can be there for each other. And again, I just want to reiterate, like, by no means is this medical advice. I want to share what's truly working for me, what has not worked for me, what I plan on cutting out, what I am doing to set myself up for success, where I know that I've set myself up for failure by doing stupid things. So let's go through the whole thing. I'm going to finish my little concoction, have some water, and then I'm going to start with breakfast, which I will show you, and then go into my day. So if that's something you want to be a part of, and again, thank you, and I'm really sorry for getting emotional. If that's something you want to be a part of and you guys want to see the daily, like the reset nervous system regulation and just getting back on track and feeling like yourself again and feeling like you're in a state of alignment with who you truly are, then just keep watching. I am going to take you through my entire day routine of all of the 5 steps that I follow throughout the day, every single day, that I feel are changing my life already. So I'm very excited to share all these things. The first thing I would say, and I'm not going to stick with this forever, but I did, like I said, do it for 7 days, is an olive oil shot with lemon juice. The amount of inflammation in my face alone that has gone down from this. And what I would suggest is just do less olive oil than you think you should do, because you don't want to re-inflame with more fat. And also, on that note, a good quality olive oil. I keep seeing people on TikTok doing this with like Costco olive oil. Just invest in a really, really good olive oil if you're going to do this. And I'm speaking from my own experience. It has made such a difference. So I will prepare that, because you can take the shot and just have it. I like to have a little something prepped, because the taste of it is a little bit bitter, but that's how you know it's working. So this is the Paragard that I was talking about, and I will prep my little side juice with my little side buddy. He's very helpful. So the juice that I make is stemmed from the idea that I want to help my gut, and I also want to hydrate. So one thing that's really good for your gut is aloe vera juice. Just make sure you get a good quality one. Again, apple cider vinegar, a little splash. Don't ever take a shot of apple cider vinegar. Apparently it's very bad for your enamel. The Paragard, and by the way, the Paragard is for parasites. So we're covering all of our bases here. Like, we're cleaning ourselves out. The electrolytes, make sure that you get an electrolyte that's really clean with no sugar, a little touch of salt, and then I mix that together, and then I'll add water. So then I have the juice prepped for right after I take my shot. So I'll just usually take the shot just sitting down. That's another thing that I'm doing to regulate my nervous system, or I should say recalibrate my nervous system, is just sit and enjoy, be on my phone less, rush less. If you're moving as though the house is on fire, that's what's going to put you in a state of fight or flight. And I'm just wired that way, where everything I do is so quick and so fast. And I've just learned to slow down my body, calm down, and stay in that, in that mode of calm. And I'm laughing because is there any Italians? Because I say Italian, and there's many cultures that are similar to this, but you are so similar to a French Canadian. And if there's any French Canadians, I'm sure they will agree. We are just bred differently. We are very animated and a little bit hyper, and we talk with our hands. So it's part of my DNA, and I have to work at it. The other thing that I do to recalibrate is I make a cup of tea. But what I wanted to say is putting on some jazz music and lighting a candle and just really having a set routine is what will calm you down so much. I feel like my body loves a routine every single day. So I will make my cup of tea after I've had the electrolytes as well as the olive oil shot. and then I will bring that tea downstairs and do a little workout. So for right now, I am not pushing my body super hard. I will talk about movement in a little bit, but I start my day with some movement, with some yoga, some meditation, as well as a vibration plate. So we're going to talk about it. But I would just say, and if you're trying to recalibrate your system and feel better in your body, one of the biggest things that could be hurting you is insane amounts of cardio or just pushing yourself way too hard, like pushing yourself to failure. If you're doing like weightlifting or whatnot, your body just might not be there right now. And that's one thing that I've learned is just give myself a little bit of grace, and I will actually probably be healthier. And if you're trying to lose weight, I'm noticing that I'm dropping pounds faster by just watching my diet and regulating my nervous system, because I think a lot of the weight that I did have was, and it's dropping like crazy, I think it was just inflammation and cortisol retention. I really think that once my body's like, oh, okay, so we're not freaking out, we're good. So I will usually hop on the vibration plate. And I just want to say, I know that there's so much hype about these. Make sure you get a good quality one. I've had mine forever. And before this, I used to have a rebounder, which is like a little trampoline. You can also just jump up and down if you want to. But the reason I like this is for me, it feels like it is depuffing me and getting everything moving in the morning without me going straight to my desk chair and sitting down. It's just a little bit of movement. And what I do is I'll usually listen to a 20-minute podcast. So I'll set this thing to 15, 20 minutes and I will listen to the podcast, or I should say YouTube. I don't really listen to podcasts. I'm a YouTube person, but I listen to Layla Hermosi. I love her. I love the Hermosis. I think they're great. So I will usually listen to her videos and I'll do a couple push-ups. Oh my gosh, ladies, if you do some push-ups on this, it targets like the back fat area. It's so good. So I just did a few push-ups, and that's really like my quote unquote workout. And then I will do a yoga class. So yesterday I did a full yoga flow, which was a little bit more challenging. Today I did a yin yoga. I love yin yoga because it just makes you stay in the pose and teaches you to breathe. So if you struggle with anxiety or just not being able to sit still, yin yoga is like the practice of really, really working at that. I personally love Boho Beautiful. I'll be super honest. I tried a different one on YouTube the other day and I had to turn him off. No offense, dude, but he was just really hyper. So make sure you have somebody calm and grounding. I would say Boho Beautiful is phenomenal. She's free on YouTube. That's what I would suggest. Just a yin yoga class, or any of her classes are great. So I did like a hip releasing one. The other thing with stress and your nervous system is, especially ladies, we store a lot of our emotions in our hips. So while I was doing this, while I was doing a lot of this, and you'll see it, when emotions arise, just let them flow. That's what I'm noticing. It's just, especially with hip movements or meditations, some emotions might arise and you might release some stuff. Just let it flow. So from there, I will usually close out my yoga practice and then I will do a meditation. So the meditation that I do varies. I will do some days a 5-minute meditation, some days a 20-some minute meditation. Today I did a priming meditation. So I will link this exact one down below. It's by Tony Robbins. I have been doing it for years. It's the exact same one I do all the time, and it makes me cry almost every single time. Don't judge it till you try it. It's better if you do it alone. I love the red light also. We've had this red light forever as well. And just a good quality red light, not just a random light bulb that's red, which is a lot of the things that are on Amazon. This is infrared as well as red light, and it just helps with inflammation. So like you saw, I put it right on my belly because I just feel like I have a lot of inflammation trying to process my priming / meditation. It's so good. It basically covers gratitude and goals that you want to set. And listen, I'll link it down below. And there's a different one, so just make sure you do the one that I link, because there's a random one that's not very good. And then Carl forgot that I was home. He's funny. So the other thing that I usually will do in my nervous system recalibration, and this is just what I'm calling it, of like how I start my day. And it's really that olive oil shot, the electrolytes, the tea, the yoga, the meditation, and then I eat something, because I was going throughout my day. Like I said, if I really looked at my day of what I was doing, I wasn't eating. So this vanilla coconut yogurt, it hits for me. The reason why the coconut yogurt works really well for me is you actually digest it before it gets to your tummy. Coconut is one of the easiest things to digest. And you know what else? It's delicious. It's a probiotic. You can see all the little cultures on the top. So good. I add flaxseed and chia seeds to everything now because it's just better for your gut health. And I freaking love raspberries. Like, I'm obsessed with raspberries. So I put some on the top. But by the way, do not worry. I did not, listen, no judgment if you want to, but I did not eat that entire carton. I just keep eating out of the carton every other day. I just thought it was really vibey and really cute. So this was the brand. There's a ton of different brands. I ordered some coconut cult. It's really hard to get in Canada, but I found one. And then again, I will just sit and have that early breakfast and no rushing, not being on my phone. And what I'll usually do is I will journal at this time. So either sitting with my dog, looking at the animals. There was no animals this time. It's way too cold out. I'm so sorry. We were going to do this video sponsored by, and then like a deer or a chipmunk. We will do it more in the spring. It's going to be great. Then from there, the other thing I do is I take my vitamins. If you are taking a rigmarole of random vitamins, that could be what is sending you over the edge. Also, just make sure you know what you're taking. So I will take you through what I take. I take turmeric for inflammation. I take fish oils. I take vitamin C twice a day because it helps you absorb iron, ladies. I take a liposomal vitamin C, if also just again, absorption. I take a vitamin D3K2. So D3 is literally, vitamin D is like what you get from the sun. If you live in a cold climate like I do, you probably need it. And then it has to be paired with K2. So the one I get is paired together. And then that's pretty much it. The other thing that I took in that little stack is a really, really good prebiotic for leaky gut. It's working for me and I love it. So like I said, then I just journal. I'll write out my plan for the day. This was me actually writing out my just plan for this entire video and just the sequence that I was sharing and just my routine and just really making sense of it and putting it on paper. And then Andre came home from Muay Thai and Carl was thrilled to see him. He went and did some groceries for us on the way home. And he's on this health train with me, but he's already he's like a star with his gut health, and his health is unreal. So I'm just trying to take a little note from his page because he's really, really good with his diet and habits, and he has such good discipline. He also got the mail for me. He comes bringing treasures. So yeah, that's really like the first step of the 5-step routine that I follow in a day is the drink in the morning with the tea and the olive oil, and then yoga, meditation, as well as the vibration plate, listening to something good for my mind. The meditation is really, really huge. Like I try to not go a day without yoga and meditation, and then the journaling, and then making sure that I eat something because I was going into my day without any food and I would just jump into coffee. So if you're doing that, this is me giving you the biggest hug. Stop doing that. So here I ordered a really, really good, like high-end gut drink, some cloves to make clove tea, because apparently that's so good for you. Also, that is us receiving our new license plates. That's what I was just looking at. I was like, ooh, what's that? We applied for our fresh license plates. And then Andre went and got some celery for us to make some juices, some beets, pineapples, sweet potatoes. Oh my gosh, ladies, we need to eat all the sweet potatoes. Just what I'm learning is like, not only for the fiber, eat the skin, but apparently the sweet potatoes are so, so good for our hormones and keeping us chill and happy. And you know how I measure what works for me? And this kind of takes us into step 2 is blood sugar regulation. When I'm feeling depleted and I feel like that's happening easier and easier with me now, not in a good way, just I get like almost like a lull, like my blood sugar dips and I don't know how else to explain it. And then I get nauseous, then I don't want to eat. It's just a vicious cycle. And then whenever I start to get nauseous, I get anxious. So it's just this weird cycle. The best thing that I can tell you to do is just making sure that you're eating consistently and keeping that up and making sure that you're having the small meals and batching stuff and prepping. So that's really what I'm going into here. So I did green apples, a couple beets, some celery, just one full celery stalk, and then I chopped up this pineapple because the pineapple just makes, if you do a green juice, just add pineapple, it makes it taste so good. And it's really, really good for immune and like getting rid of like excess mucus and all that. So if you're feeling fluey, not that I was, but it just helps. So I chopped that up, saved some in a Tupperware to make another juice later. And I was going to make just a full batch of juice for Andre and I. I've had this juicer forever. I love it. It's a Breville juicer. It works well. It will juice the whole thing. A couple tips, by the way, because I always see people doing this, and it's just, you know where I get it from? If you've seen the show Ozark, this is why. Don't juice your cherry pits or your apple pits. Again, I don't want to ruin the show if you've never seen it because I hate people that spoil stuff, but I'm just telling you, that's toxic. Like that, don't juice take the core of the apple out. The other thing I added in there is some ginger, really, really good for your tummy. Turmeric, really like fresh turmeric root, really, really good for inflammation. And then you can see the beet juice. I love beets. I think beets are delicious and they're so good for us. Pineapple to make it taste delish. And then the green apples, like this is so good for me. I had about half of it because again, and this is just, I'm just trying to be transparent. At about this point in the video, and I kept going, I was super lightheaded. So again, with the blood sugar thing, it sends me on this loop where it's just super difficult to do otherwise very simple tasks that like a normal person would be able to do. And it's very frustrating to feel that way in your body when you are normally a very healthy person. So I'm just sharing that with you. You can't really tell in the video, but I did debate like just capping it and not filming anymore, but I pushed through. So I was only able to have half because I just completely lost my appetite. And that's what's been happening is I just don't say anything, which I think a lot of ladies, we do this. We just pretend like we're good. Like you would never know. So one thing that I have been prepping, not for me, this is purely for my husband. He's obsessed with it, but I should probably have it. It's very good for you, is these overnight oats so there's oats, chia, flax. I added a little bit of extra flax. He can have oat milk. I choose not to, and I would not suggest that you do if your gut is inflamed. I will do cashew milk or almond milk. I'm fine with that, but oat milk is a no-go for me. And then almond butter. Listen, I was the biggest peanut butter gal. I refused to have any seed butter. We threw out, like, we're not having peanut butter anymore. So I'm an almond butter gal now. I'm just making like easy swaps that are just more health conscious, just through research, like so much research. So then I decided to prep some of the best things that I know how to make that are really, really clean, that I can grab and go, that will help me just stabilize that blood sugar and keeping everything high protein. So this is one of my go-to recipes. I've made it before on this channel. I think I made it last spring, or well, technically we only started this channel at the end of the summer. So maybe you've never seen it, but I do some rolled oats, gluten-free oats. I do some oat bran. This is chia and flaxseed mixed together. This is collagen, just grass-fed, all natural collagen. There's no flavors or anything weird in it. This is a really clean protein, banana flavored. So I do 2 big scoops of that. So I'm really trying to make like a high protein, super clean muffin recipe. And listen, I know how annoying it is that I'm not giving you measurements, but I don't know. I take after my very French Canadian mother. We don't measure, we just go. I had a ton of overripe bananas, tossed those in. You know what will help if you see the consistency? That's how you know. A little bit of baking powder, a real big dollop of cottage cheese, low-fat cottage cheese, a little helper. And I ended up adding a 3rd egg. So 3 eggs is what I put. And then I just put it all in the mixer. And then I started mixing that. And then I added in, you'll see me add in some coconut oil. It almost overflowed. I had so many extra bananas. So a little splash of the Core Power milk, which I get is not ideal, but I needed some form of milk to go in there. Some dark chocolate chips. And yeah, the coconut oil also, just instead of butter. And don't ask, our coconut oil is always melted because it sits right where there's a vent. So it's never solid. It's fine. So that's the consistency that it should be, kind of like a pudding. And then you're going to spray your little containers. I love these muffin tins. They're so perfect. Nothing ever gets stuck in them. So I make little mini ones and then some big ones. For me, the mini ones are perfect. Again, that blood sugar thing, I just need to make sure that I'm eating very consistently, like 5 to 7 times a day, like not just once or twice. And then everything is prepped. I tried to prep so much this week so that there was no guessing or rushing, because here's the thing, whenever I rush, I make bad decisions. Now that takes me to step 3. You need a simple game plan. So what I'm following is pretty simple. It's an anti-inflammatory diet. I'm using my brain on this. Like, it's anti-inflammatory. Technically, you can have all the coffee you want. I'm not doing that. You can also have wine. I'm not doing that. So for me, no caffeine, no alcohol. And what I'm adding to this is high protein. So I saw this recipe on my Instagram and I was like, I'm making it. So just as these little babies were coming out of the oven, I dove into this recipe, which is basically just a ton of egg whites. I think I overdid the egg whites. Oh, and I found my appetite. Well, half. I kind of had to force myself, but I figured let's just have some eggs. And this is what I want to say. When it hits, you know that it's good. So that's where I just listen to my body. So the eggs for me hit, they're high protein. It works. The iron probably hit. So I had 3 eggs in a bowl and it was great. So, okay, so here's the recipe. Again, high protein, super clean. This is fluffed egg whites with a little dab of tapioca flour. You can use cornstarch. I just figured the tapioca flour is what I had on hand. It was cleaner. Then in a side bowl, while that egg yolk mixture is baking in the oven at about 350, don't leave it in for very long. It should turn out to be like a little cloud. Oh, and then, so after I had the eggs, I decided that I had an appetite. So good. Delish. Carl was staring at me. He absolutely could not have any. So this is what it should look like. Looks like a little cloud. And here's what I'm thinking. I could make like herb ones, like as bread. Anyways, so this is supposed to be a dessert. And to sweeten these, I use monk fruit drops and a little touch of vanilla. Then the filling is Greek yogurt, lemon zest, a little bit of that extra egg white fluff, and monk fruit, and then I salted it with some pink Himalayan sea salt. Whenever I say salt, by the way, I never use white table salt. I always use pink Himalayan rock salt. So then I rolled it together. Doesn't it look cute? It's like a little fluffy pancake. So I decided to cut these in rolls, but then after a while, because like I said, I overcommitted on the egg whites. I had way too many, but I just kept going because we're just going to meal prep and have these as like breakfast and desserts and snacks. And it's so you could literally eat the whole thing. I think it's something like 40 calories. Like it's so little in calories and so high in protein. So I pulled that off the parchment paper, and this was my second batch. And then you can see me making another batch. I just kept going with the fluffy egg whites, and you just kind of flatten it out like a little pizza. And it'll probably stay in the oven for about, honestly, maybe 10 minutes, not even. So I rolled that one up. That was the second one I did. And it tastes like a lemon meringue. It's delicious. You'll see the husband taste test is coming up. So this is what they look like. They're so good. And by the way, this is coming from someone. I hate egg whites and I love it. I don't even know. It's incredible. So then I made a second batch with blueberry Greek yogurt and some fresh blueberries in there, as well as a little bit of sea salt not sea salt, the pink Himalayan rock salt, vanilla, and then the monk fruit drops as well. And then you just add in, and I added some cottage cheese because the original recipe calls for cream cheese, and I figured, no, we're not doing that. So I did some cottage cheese for higher protein, and then just mix that all together. Delish. So you just kind of, scoop it on, spread it out, and then roll it like a little burrito. And I promise it's delicious because I would not be giving you dessert options if it was not delish. So I just cut it in half, and they're even better after they've been refrigerated. That's another tip I have also for the green juice. It is so much better after it's been refrigerated. If you're coming home with groceries and you're juicing it and the vegetables aren't freezing cold from the fridge, it's not going to be very good. So then I ran out of Tupperwares from the egg white dessert. So I put all these in a big bowl, and then I'll just cover it with some plastic wrap later on. And here is the taste test. So he doesn't know yet. He only saw the muffins, and he's making his bone broth protein. And I was like, do you want to taste one of these? He loves desserts. And he would not lie. If he doesn't like it, he would say he wouldn't like it. So this is going to be our go-to dessert after dinner, and then just snacks throughout the day. So listen, I meal prepped for quite a while between the juices, the muffins, and then just some go-to items. The other thing that I did off camera is prep a really big bone broth soup with sweet potatoes, carrots, some chopped up chicken, and just, so I'm really just following no alcohol, no caffeine. It's working for me. Number 4, movement. Walk more, sit less. One thing that I noticed, and like I said, I'm really just trying to be observant that if I went to, I've seen many doctors, but if I went to a doctor and they asked me questions, like I already know what I'm not doing great at. And one thing is that I will sit for hours and work at my computer. And I think a lot of us do this, but I won't get up. like I used to say to Andre as a joke, like it's a nuisance for me to have to get up, go eat, or go to the washroom, which is terrible. But I just get so into my work and I just get so focused. So this is something that I really wanted to get better at. And I shared this in a prior video, but my husband got me a really nice treadmill walking pad that can go on an incline for Valentine's Day, and it was super sweet and I just love it. And he uses it as well. And I'm writing my book on here. So it's just something that you can just stand, work on your laptop if you want to. So yeah, I'm working on a book. So I track my sleep, I track my steps, I track my cycle, ladies, I track my food. I do it with the Oura Ring. The red light I was sharing is for sleep, and then that little sheet is for grounding. So sleep, like I said, I sleep like a champion, and I really hope that can continue, because if I lose that, then I'm just going to be a disaster. But sleep right now is something that I am good at, and it's getting better and better. Like tracking my sleep right now, my Oura Ring with no alcohol or caffeine in my system. Oh my, just that change alone. Oh my gosh. And then this morning when I hopped on the scale, I gasped of happiness because I cannot believe the pounds that have fallen off by just these simple changes. And like I said, it might just be because I'm keeping my body calm. And the fifth and final step is a clean space for a clear mind. I don't know about you, but I get so overwhelmed if I live in clutter. So even if something just gets overrun a little bit too much, I will make it a point to just quickly tidy it up. And what I try and do is make a list of like 3 places in the house that I want to hit just really quickly to tidy up. And I did like a full cleanup video last week, but making sure that my bed is made, making sure that my makeup table and like getting ready area is put away. And then of course my desk, like my work area, this area gets so congested because of work and just constant running projects and just tidying up and then filming and everything. So this is my new light box. This is my little photography studio. And I love how you can't see what I'm putting in there because it is a full-blown secret. So this will be launching very soon. And I don't know how else to say it other than it's some things that have been asked for years, 2 years in the making, which is crazy. But no, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'll show it to you. I'm not supposed to. The team does not know that I'm doing this, and I'm completely I just spilled every bean that there is to spill. I think there's a few more beans to spill, but it's pretty beautiful. So anyways, this is how I ended my day. I cleaned everything, and that was I feel like that quote is so perfect. Just stay consistent and you've got this. And I know that it can be so discouraging, but we've got this together. And just thank you again for being so cool and so amazing and receptive to all of this. And I will continue to share my journey, and how cool would it be that in a month or 2 months or a year from now, we get out of this and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm healthier than I've ever been. And that little hiccup was just all for the best. So stick to your goals. I believe in you. You've got this. And I will continue to share my journey. I love you guys so much. Bye, dudes.